What if a camera hidden deep in the wilderness captured something so shocking it left the world in disbelief? These devices usually record wildlife, majestic deer, sly foxes, or massive bears. But what if one filmed something far beyond the ordinary? In this untouched forest where nature remains wild and untamed, something unsettling lingered just beyond view. When the footage was reviewed, the discovery stunned not just the team but the entire world. Stay tuned, what was captured is truly unbelievable. The camera setup. Deep in a secluded forest, far from the noise of civilization, Alex Lang, a devoted conservationist, dedicated himself to a demanding task, analyzing countless hours of footage from hidden trail cameras. At first, everything appeared ordinary: massive bears foraging, silent owls gliding between trees, and swift foxes darting through thick underbrush. But something about this project felt different. There was an unshakable feeling that this forest held more than what met the eye, something just out of reach, lurking beyond the camera's frame. Alex had hoped for an extraordinary discovery, perhaps an elusive species or a creature long thought extinct. Yet, as time passed and he sifted through endless recordings, disappointment crept in. Maybe this forest is as empty as it seems, he thought, his initial excitement fading. Then everything changed. The pattern of routine was shattered. What Alex saw next would not only challenge his understanding of this remote wilderness, but would leave him and everyone who witnessed it completely astonished. A woman in the woods. The camera's motion sensor detected an unexpected presence. A figure emerged from the left side of the screen. At first, Alex couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was a woman. His fingers hovered over the keyboard, heart pounding as he watched the figure step forward. She moved through the dense foliage, her pale hair glowing against the dark curtain of trees. But something was off her clothing. She wore a form-fitting black outfit, almost like a swimsuit or leathered, an odd choice for the middle of a vast, untamed forest. Her arms hung limply at her sides, her head slightly tilted downward, as if she was walking without thought or purpose. She never looked at the camera. She simply kept moving, drifting through the frame with an eerie stillness. The scene sent a chill down Alex's spine. It was like something out of a horror film. He leaned in closer, scanning every detail. There were no trails in that area, no logical reason for anyone to be wandering there. In all the time they had studied this place, he could count on one hand how many people they had encountered, and none had ever looked this unsettling. The woman continued forward, then suddenly stopped. She turned her head slightly, as if reacting to a sound behind her, but the camera recorded nothing, only the silence of the deep forest. After a moment, she resumed walking, slipping into the shadows beyond the frame. The video ended, but Alex sat frozen. A heavy sense of unease settled over him. He knew this place well. There were no roads, no paths leading to this remote stretch of land. The camera had functioned perfectly, no errors, no interference, yet nothing about what he had just seen made sense. Who was she? Where had she come from? And why did she move as if guided by an invisible force? Alex tried to stay rational. Maybe she was just a lost hiker, though her strange attire made that hard to believe. No matter how much he searched for an explanation, the feeling of unease only deepened. Each time he replayed the footage, goosebumps prickled his skin. This was beyond what he could understand alone. Someone else needed to see it. But one question lingered: what exactly had they captured? The footage spreads like wildfire. Alex wasted no time. He shared the footage with his boss, and within hours it was everywhere. No video from this project had ever gained so much attention before. People couldn't explain what they were seeing, but they couldn't look away. Was this a ghost? A trick of the light? Or was it something far more disturbing, something the forest had kept hidden for generations? Theories flooded the internet. The footage spread like wildfire across social media, sparking endless debates. Some insisted it was a staged art piece designed to stir fear and curiosity. Others believed it hinted at something much stranger. Could this woman be connected to the cryptid legends whispered about in the area? Some speculated she was a forest spirit, or perhaps one of the many unknown beings said to roam the most isolated places on Earth. The more people examined the footage, the more questions emerged. Who was she? How did she end up in such a remote place, dressed in such an unusual way? And why did she move with an almost unnatural stillness, as if she weren't entirely human? As the video's reach expanded, theories about paranormal activity gained traction. Could she be linked to unexplained events similar to those reported in Hoyabishu Forest, a place infamous for eerie disappearances and strange lights in the sky? Suddenly, this forest wasn't just a setting, it was part of the mystery itself. And with every new theory, the truth seemed to slip further from reach. Was she a spirit lost in time? A creature that had managed to remain hidden for centuries? Or was this just one of those rare, unexplainable moments that defy all logic? As the footage continued to spread, one thing was certain: no single explanation could fully solve the mystery of the woman in the woods. The video had ignited a frenzy, drawing in thousands of viewers eager to uncover the truth. As it reached audiences worldwide, people kept asking the same haunting question: who was the woman in the woods? What do you think? Do you have a theory about the mysterious figure caught on camera? Could she be a ghost, a cryptid, or something even stranger? Before we continue, I have a quick request for all of you watching. If you enjoy these stories and want to help us keep exploring the world's most bizarre mysteries, take a second to hit the notification bell and subscribe. It makes a huge difference, and I promise my team and I will keep bringing you the best content possible. Deal? Identification of the woman. The mystery of the woman in the woods took an unexpected and deeply emotional turn when a man came forward, his voice trembling with emotion, to reveal a truth no one had anticipated. His name was Carl Reynolds, and the woman in the footage was his sister, Emily Reynolds. Carl's hands shook as he spoke to reporters, his eyes filled with tears. It's her. It's Emily. Those words shifted the entire conversation, transforming the mystery from something eerie and unexplained into something heartbreakingly real. My sister has been missing for 4 years, he continued. We never stopped searching for her. I never lost hope, but I never imagined this. Carl explained that Emily had vanished without a trace during a solo road trip. Her car was discovered abandoned about 20 miles from the forest, no signs of struggle, no footprints, no belongings left behind. The case had gone cold, leaving Carl and his family with nothing but unanswered questions and the ache of Emily's disappearance. The weight of Carl's revelation settled over everyone who had followed the story. The shock wasn't just about the footage itself. It was the realization that the silent, mysterious figure in the video was not just a stranger, but someone's sister, someone's daughter. Emily, once lost to time, had reappeared in the most unexplainable way. But how had Emily ended up in the forest? How had she survived in such a remote and unforgiving wilderness for so long? Her abandoned car had been the only clue authorities ever found, and no trace of her had surfaced in all those years. Now, instead of answers, Carl was left with even more disturbing questions. The footage had given the world a name, but it had not solved the mystery, it had only deepened it. How had Emily survived in complete isolation? What had she been through? And perhaps most chilling of all, was this just the beginning of a story far stranger than anyone was prepared for? The search for Emily. With Emily's identity confirmed, the search for her took on a new urgency. Authorities were now more determined than ever to locate her. The world had been shaken by this shocking revelation, and what began as a mystery had turned into a desperate race to uncover the truth. Despite the growing efforts and global attention, the forest seemed unwilling to give up its secrets. Search teams swarmed the area. Helicopters roared overhead, drones scanned every open clearing, and boots trampled through the undergrowth, hunting for any sign of Emily. They meticulously combed through the vast wilderness near the spot where her car had been abandoned, retracing every possible path she could have taken. But the forest remained silent: no footprints, no makeshift camps, no discarded belongings. It was as if she had vanished into thin air all over again. With each passing day, the mystery only deepened. Emily had been missing for 4 years, yet even with every resource now at their disposal, authorities found nothing. How had she survived for so long? Where had she been? And most unsettling of all, why had she emerged only to disappear once more? As the search stretched on, theories spread like wildfire. Some believed Emily had never been lost at all, but instead had been held captive by someone or something hidden deep within the forest. Had she been trapped in an underground shelter, away from the world's eyes? Others suggested she had chosen to vanish, deliberately escaping from a past she no longer wanted to be part of. But the most unsettling theories drifted beyond the realm of the ordinary. Could Emily have encountered something unexplainable? Some whispered that she had stumbled upon an ancient secret, one that had kept her hidden in the forest's grasp. Others speculated about the cryptids said to lurk in the world's most uncharted wilderness, creatures that exist just beyond human perception. The search for Emily was far from over. The forest remained vast, untouched, and full of secrets that no one had yet uncovered. Somewhere in its depths, the truth waited to be found, but whether the world was ready for it was another question entirely. Alex's discovery. Alex couldn't escape the haunting image of Emily's face. The eerie stillness of the footage replayed in his mind, her pale figure drifting through the dense forest like something from a forgotten nightmare. How had she survived in the unforgiving wilderness for so many years? Alex knew he couldn't just wait for answers, he had to find them himself. Determined, he refused to let authorities take their time piecing together the truth. He had to retrace Emily's steps, to follow whatever trail she had unknowingly left behind. Every frame of the footage burned into his memory, each detail a possible clue. Then, one day, something stood out, a familiar landmark, an overgrown path, a hidden clearing captured in the video. Relying on nothing but the footage and his instincts, Alex plunged into the forest. The days were long, his body ached, and exhaustion weighed on his mind. But the thought of Emily kept him moving forward. He pushed through the thick underbrush, searching desperately for a sign that she had been there. Then, deep within the forest's grasp, Alex found something that had eluded every other search: an old shack, half buried in the trees. His pulse pounded as he stepped closer. How had this place remained hidden for so long? Why had no one else discovered it? Inside, the air was thick with dust, stale and untouched by time. And then there, in the dim light, Emily. For a moment, Alex stood frozen in the doorway, his breath caught in his chest. Her face was thin, her eyes clouded with exhaustion, fear, and something else, something unexplainable. She had endured more than anyone could imagine. What do you think? How did Emily survive for so many years in the wild? Was it pure instinct, or was something else at play? Share your theories in the comments below, and let's unravel this mystery together. Emily's recovery. Emily's body was weak, her skin pale and clinging tightly to her fragile frame. The brightness that once filled her eyes had faded, leaving them hollow and distant. The moment Alex found her in that shack, he could see the toll the wilderness had taken. She looked like a mere shadow of the person she had once been, but despite her physical condition, doctors were far more concerned about something else: her mind. Her mental recovery would be a much longer battle than healing her body. The doctors warned that she needed time to rest, to process, to remember. But the biggest question remained: would she ever remember? And if she did, could she handle what she would uncover? As Emily slowly regained her strength, she often sat in silence, staring blankly as if trapped in a world of her own. Her memories were fractured. Glimpses of the past came and went, but never in full. She saw flickers of images, faces, places, but they never truly connected. She recalled wandering the forest, constantly moving, searching for something she couldn't quite name. The days had blurred together in a haze of isolation, fear, and confusion. Alex watched helplessly as she struggled, her pain evident with each attempt to grasp what had happened. Every moment of clarity seemed to bring more anguish, as if the truth was too heavy to bear. What had kept her alive for so long? Was it sheer willpower, raw survival instincts driving her forward? Or was there something else at play, something beyond human comprehension? The deeper Alex looked into Emily's story, the more unsettling the mystery became. How had she managed to stay hidden in that forest for so many years? Why had she suddenly reappeared now? And most disturbingly, was she truly alone all that time? The mystery surrounding Emily's survival had only deepened. Was it simply human resilience, or had something far more unexplainable been guiding her all along? Carl's reunification with Emily. When Carl laid eyes on his sister again, the emotions crashed over him like a tidal wave. After so many years of searching, not knowing whether she was alive or lost forever, he was finally standing face to face with her. But the woman before him was not the sister he had once known. There she was, Emily, alive, breathing, but changed. Her frame was fragile, her skin pale, and her eyes carried the heavy burden of confusion, a reflection of the years she had spent wandering the merciless wilderness. Carl's heart swelled with relief, but there was also sorrow. Her features were familiar, yet the warmth and light he remembered felt distant, as if he was staring at a stranger wearing his sister's face. Despite the pain, the uncertainty, and the unspoken questions hanging between them, there was a glimmer of something. Carl had prayed for: hope. A smile. Faint, almost imperceptible, but real. It was the first time in years that he had seen his sister smile. It lasted only a moment, but to Carl, it was everything. It was proof that somewhere beneath the years of hardship and isolation, Emily was still there. The reunion was bittersweet. Carl had spent countless nights grieving, preparing himself for the worst. Seeing his sister alive was nothing short of a miracle, but the person standing before him had been shaped by a reality he could never fully understand. The journey ahead would be long. The future, uncertain. But Carl's priorities had shifted. It was no longer about solving the mystery of how she had survived or uncovering the secrets buried deep in the forest. The answers didn't matter anymore. What mattered was helping Emily heal, guiding her back to the life she had lost. The truth behind her disappearance might remain hidden forever, locked away in the silence of the trees. But Carl didn't care. His only mission now was to help his sister step out of the shadows and reclaim the life that had been stolen from her. Alex's final reflection. Alex couldn't stop thinking about the forest. Even after everything: the eerie footage, the relentless search, and Emily's miraculous return, his thoughts kept drifting back to the woods. The woman captured on camera, the strange sequence of events that led to her discovery, and the one question that refused to leave his mind: how had the camera recorded her at the exact moment she appeared? It felt almost as if fate had directed the lens, ensuring that precise moment would be caught. But was it just luck? Or was something else at play? The forest had always been a keeper of secrets, concealing what it did not wish to be found. Yet this time, it felt as if those secrets had chosen to reveal themselves. Was this merely an extraordinary coincidence? Or was there a force within the woods, something unseen, waiting for someone to take notice? The more Alex thought about it, the more questions surfaced. Perhaps the forest itself had more to tell. Maybe unseen forces lurked just beyond the trees, hidden in the depths of the shadows. Perhaps there were more mysteries buried beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to emerge. The camera had captured Emily's image exactly when it was meant to. But what if this was just the beginning? Maybe the forest was more than just a silent observer of an unusual event. Maybe it had a story of its own, one that had been waiting, watching, and whispering through the wind for someone to finally listen. A story connected to things unseen, things beyond human understanding. As Alex stood at the forest's edge, staring into the vast, untamed wilderness, a strange feeling crept over him. It was as if the trees themselves were holding their breath, waiting for the next curious soul to step forward, to wander in and unravel what had remained hidden for so long. The more he reflected, the more he realized that the answers they had uncovered about Emily, about the woman in the footage, were only fragments of a much larger mystery. The forest was ancient, far older than any of them, and it had witnessed more than anyone could ever comprehend. And the question still lingered, unanswered: what else does the forest know? Conclusion. And as we reach the end of Emily's mysterious disappearance, the questions it has raised are far from answered. Her return from the wilderness has shed some light on her fate, but the forest itself remains an unsolved mystery, guarding secrets that may never be fully revealed. Was her survival merely the power of human resilience, or was there something far stranger lurking within those trees? What do you think? What's your theory about Emily's disappearance? Do you believe the forest holds secrets beyond human understanding? Could there be forces waiting to reveal themselves when the time is right? Or was it all just an extraordinary chain of coincidences? If you enjoyed today's video, thanks for joining us. Leave a comment, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting videos. See you in the next video.